everyone. Welcome to the Team Precious Life Stuff show. And I have a special guest this afternoon. And Life Stuff is all about relationships, life challenges, inspiration, mental wellness, parenting, and more. So I'm very honored today to have a special guest with me. His name is Jaime Medina, and he's from California. Lucky guy, and it's about 80 degrees there today. And
cool.
Yes, excellent. So I just want to make sure we're coming through on Facebook. So I'm just going to look over quickly to see. And I hope it's coming through live. Yes, we're live. Yay.
Yeah,
So,
awesome.
So our topic today is about You Are Not Alone. So Jaime will be sharing insight into how to get through the toughest days of your life. He knows because he's been there. And what really caught me, I've been following Jaime for a bit on LinkedIn and Facebook, and he did a recent post where he said, I believe there is always a way through any situation, especially when someone has your back, and that's very important. So Jaime is the founder of FIX. It's a veteran service organization, and he is a combat peer support and substance abuse counselor, and he served in the US Airforce. He's also a speaker, and he has a brand new profile on eSpeakers, and he's a suicide interventionist, a veteran transition specialist, co-host of the Veterans Take Charge radio show. Jaime's the founder of FIX, and he's dedicated his life to helping American veterans and people fighting through physical and mental obstacles such as PTSD, self-medication, anger management, isolation, survivor's guilt, and problematic thinking. So Technical Sergeant Medina served with distinction in one of the most dangerous career fields within the US military for over a decade. And he was just telling me before we went live that the specific job that he had, and I just couldn't believe the technical skills required for that position, and the focus and ability to multitask is incredible. This distinction earned him 22 medals, including 2 Bronze Star medals, multiple Army and Air Force Commendation Awards with Valor, Air Force and Army Combat Badges. And he had many decorations through 16 years of service. And I'm really, really happy to have Jaime here today. Really special guy because he's taken his life experience and he's really blessing many people through his journey and helping them through their journey. And that's what it's all about in times like this. We're going through the COVID is to reach out to others to help them to make sure that they're okay. You know, we're in isolation, so it means checking in on people. So Jaime's going to share today how the different types of problematic thinking and what that does, and he'll explain all that, and how we can shift automatic thoughts and come to a better way. It's all about mindset, and he'll talk about that, and he'll walk us through an example with a thought record. So Jaime, welcome to the Team Precious Life Stuff show.
Hey, how's it going? Thank you for inviting me. I was blown away that you even asked me to do that. I appreciate it very much. Thank you.
So tell us a bit about yourself, Jaime, and your journey. We want to hear all about it.
Oh my gosh. Well, you explained a lot already. I'm already kind of like shrinking in my seat right now as you were talking. Yeah, well, I'm from California, back home now in Tracy. It's Northern California, over by the San Francisco Bay Area. Gosh, not recently. Well, 2016, I medically retired out of the Air Force I was a special operations joint terminal attack controller. What that entailed was I would control, I was the guy on the ground who would control airstrikes, and pretty much like I was in the center of everything going on, right? So I'd have to know like where the enemy was or where they could potentially be. I'd have to know where every single friendly or coalition force would be. And usually whenever an operation is going on, you would have your predators or drones, right, to watch everything, because all the generals in the back want to see the battle as it happens, like reality TV, right? Purely American. So, so like the drones would be there, and then I'd have fixed wing aircraft, which is your fighter jets. I would have rotary wing aircraft, attack aircraft like Apache attack aircraft. But I'd also be controlling mortars as well. So like it's a very, very unique position, you know, as you're fighting and you're moving on through an objective. Just imagine having like one ear was full of like fixed wing and the UAVs. The other ear was all the friendly forces on their communications, you know, and then plus mortars and whatnot. So yeah, it was definitely a difficult job, you know, and then it came to a screeching halt. Yeah, I had an operational tempo, and the way as I was kind of explaining, you kind of get the drift now. You know, that's what I did, you know, for, like I said, over a decade plus, 16, almost 17 years. And then they told me I couldn't do it anymore. So, yeah, obviously I was like, wait, what? No, this is who I am. Like, I'm a legend, you know, in my own mind, right? And, you know, and I was so involved in what we were doing. It was my, like, identity, my pure identity. And to have that just taken away, yeah, I sort of self-destructed, or no, I did self-destruct. Going through and being sort of that example, and you know, being such a big deal in my little world, obviously, right? Ego, right? Fuse ego, and when I had that taken away from me, yeah, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. So I ended up feeding myself with any drug and substance, every alcohol, anything you could possibly think of. All the while, I was a federal police officer as well. So I'd gotten out of the military. They told me I was broken, couldn't do it, right? Couldn't do it anymore. You know, I'm like, oh, whatever. I wasn't whatever though. It totally affected me. And then I went to go become a federal police officer because it was easy for me to walk on to do that, right? Yeah, and around trained observers every day, and I was completely out of my mind, drunk on. I mean, I'd be up for days and days and days at a time, speedballing, and I go to sleep drinking NyQuil and alcohol, and it's just horrible, right? But able to still operate. I could still be running 5 miles a day. I'd still be, you know, doing how my heart didn't explode. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. And then, well, obviously you can only maintain that for so long. You're going to get caught, or you're going to crash a patrol car like I did, or something's going to happen, you know. And eventually I couldn't run. I couldn't avoid. I couldn't lie, manipulate my entire world around me. I couldn't do it anymore. I ended up getting caught, right? So it was either, you know, suicide, which many veterans do, and I did contemplate that. I had suicidal ideations, but my behavior and activity was more of a homicidal. I did not care. I did not care about anything. Yeah, and so then I ended up asking for help. I did what so many have asked of me, you know, throughout my career. I didn't want to ask. Well, I didn't want to ask for help. Number one, because I don't ask for help, right? I help people. I don't ask for help, you know. But I wasn't helping people. I was destroying, making victims of those closest to me, right? Yeah. But yeah, I couldn't do it anymore, and I thank God. Thank God. And you know who? Not only thank God, but thank well, my captain, Captain Cordero, who was my captain at the time, police, and I think my ex-wife, Raquel, I was a complete bastard, but sorry, I cussed. You know, and my son, they were horrified. Ex-wife at the time too, but they were horrified of me. You know, especially my son. You know, that there was no more substance or drink that I could do to suppress that feeling of you know of him mainly looking at me. You know, so. I was like, all right, you know, give it a shot, you know, and I did. I went to the VA in Palo Alto here in Northern California. I went to the emergency room. That was an ordeal. And from there, I had to go into what's I call it the puzzle factory. It was kind of like the crazy house in a way, right? So I did there for about 18 days, right? So I was sitting there 18 days, and then they transferred me to it's called Foundations of Recovery. It's the actual, you know, drug and substance abuse rehab. So I did that and finished, I think, 32 days there. And then after that, they told me I had some PTSD things going on, you know, diagnosed actually chronic severe PTSD. And then they told me I had multiple traumatic brain injuries, right? And it was documented. I didn't remember it. Like I was reading I remember we found the medical evaluation of when I was in country. I don't remember it. Like I'm reading it in black and white, but I don't remember it at all. Nothing. I don't remember anything about it. It's weird, you know?
Yeah. You had everything tuned out because of the pain.
Must have been, must have been. And then I went to the men's polytrauma treatment center, where I spent about 4.5 months. And best decisions I and those that helped me made for me, right? Like, it was the best decision I ever made. Just the clarity of thought now, and yeah, the ability to know that I'm not necessarily as disabled as what they told me that I am. I mean, it's still a little crazy, but I've always been. So, but yeah, and yeah, that's sort of the path, that got me to here and now talking to you. So.
But just to go back and describe the job that you did when you were in the military, and how to have that multitasking ability is just incredible. So just share like what your job was. What did you do?
So I was a part of we're called TACP, right? We're in the Air Force, but there's nothing about us that is Air Force. We're with foreign troops, coalition, Marines, Army. We could be with SEALs, Rangers. I mean, we're a force multiplier, which means you could put one of us on the battlefield with a little security team, and we could destroy the earth, like if you allow us, right? We call in airstrikes, we laser targets. We would be part of the planning process. So the planning process is for like massive operations are huge. So we'd be part of that. We'd interject. Hey, we would have to try and get intelligence as far as what the enemy did, all their TTPs or tactics, techniques, and procedures, and then analyze historical data. So you try and analyze that as much as you can, look for trends, look for patterns of life, stuff like that. So that when I could go to General Petraeus or one of the generals there, and hey, this is what we expect them to do in this area. This is the common trends, this and that. This is what I bring to the table as far as air power to neutralize that threat and or divert forces, so we can either gonna crush, kill, capture, or whatever it may be, right? So then planning takes days and days and days. Then rehearsal days or hours or whatever it may be. Sometimes you gotta go just Black Hawk, go ahead, and then the execution of the operation. And then after that, so like one operation could be 3 days, could be 5, who knows, right? But we're part of every single thing, every single aspect all along the way. And then after, so then you come back, everybody's been fighting or whatever for a couple of days, and you have to type up this crazy after action report of what happened, what we did, what we anticipated. Just, oh God, for one person to do that, I don't know how I did it. I really don't.
To be a dispatcher for 911, and I think that's compared to what you did, but incredible. It's incredible, and you're always under strain and stress, but your mind has to be very sharp, and everything's so precise because one thing can turn everything around. So,
yeah.
So you share with us, what things that people can do to shift out of a mindset of, where they're. Because we talked about this earlier, how we can easily go down a dark hole really quick.
Oh, of course. Yeah, of course. Okay.
Conscious awareness every day, consistently. And it's me, it's you, it's everyone. Because we all have separate brains, separate minds, and within, we make our decisions every day. And that's very important. And a lot of that's based on subconscious conditions.
Of course.
So
repetition, and yeah.
A repetition of certain behaviors, right? So I talk about that in my book, and I'm going to share a little bit about that shortly. But please share with us, you had your automatic thoughts, problematic thinking, and how we can shift into a better space.
Sure, and that's what I did on Facebook, right? When you saw my Facebook post when you reached out, because I read that article. It was a New York Post, I believe, or Washington, something like that, and yeah, it was just more drama, more everything's falling apart, the world's falling apart, and so as far as this COVID-19 and everything, and people have been attacked me, right? Not really attacked. It's Facebook, it's not real, but they come down kind of hard on me because I have not been participating in this. I've never worn a mask. I've never worn gloves. I just did not want to be a part. Well, okay, the first week and a half I did, right? But I saw some things happen, around here where I didn't want to be a part of that. I didn't want to be a part of neighbors telling on neighbors and people just the paranoia and the fear, like the loop of the media and I too much. Like, to me, I was like, you guys are trying to sell something here, so I don't want a part of it. I've done this in other countries. Like, I've helped disrupt things in other countries using the same playbook. Wanted nothing to do with it. So I just stayed away, you know, and I respectfully stay away from people. But after reading that article, you know, it's like, okay, after we come out of the isolation, or, you know, or the whatever's going on with the COVID thing, now with mental health, right? I've been depressed. I hate myself. Like, you know, I'm sad. I mean, you know, I can't be around people. You know, and it was like that. I was reading that. I was thinking about this woman who was saying all this to the reporter. I'm going, God, how sad is that? How horrible is that? Like, you've gone through a traumatic experience, right, already in this crisis pandemic that we're in, and now you immediately transition into mental health. I'm depressed. I need pills. You know, oh my God. You know, then what's next? What's next, right? It's like crisis after crisis after. You know, it just time out. Stop for a minute. And I sort of had this conversation with her in my head as I was reading it. I was like, God, I just want to go over there and be knocking on her door. Hey, you know, oh, don't get near me, because, you know, everybody's like, stay away from each other. I want to grab her and just be like, just hug her and be like, hey, you're okay, you're fine, all right, I'm fine. You know, let her cough on her, but, you know, just let her know, hey, you're good, you know. And not everybody's like this, because that was it. People were saying, oh, everyone is feeling this way, and you know, very general. No. Like, what are you feeling? You know, are you really in a crisis? Because what you're hearing on the news and Facebook and comments and all this kind of stuff, you're feeding that. It's feeding that giant negativity, like it's a monster, negative monster within you. You know, so you're feeding it. Okay, so you can also starve it, right? So I'd say, you know, time out for a second. You know, and that's when I wrote, like, whomever is going through this. And we know, right? We all know if there's something wrong with us. Right? We know when we're making mistakes. We all know, you know, if you're really honest with yourself, you know, you do know. You know what's wrong with you. You know, if you tell the truth, you know what's wrong with you, and you know how to fix it too. We're all very smart. Nobody's stupid. You know. And then I said, then I mentioned in the comment, right? So if you're feeling like that, if you're feeling stressed and depressed, and, you know, the world's ending. It's not, never has, never will. Go outside, you know, and take a moment, right? Time out. You can even take a time out in a firefight. I have many times, right? So walk out and just listen, right? Listen. What do you hear? I don't hear screaming. Things aren't burning. People aren't dying. There's not bombs going off. I've seen that. So now, granted, my perception, my perspective is a little jaded, because I've come from pure hell on earth, right? So I look at this and I'm like, that's not a crisis, you know, but also makes me a little, I can easily make mistakes too, right? So I'm aware of that as well, because it would take that for me to be triggered to feel like something, like I'm in a crisis. I would take everything on fire, people screaming, you know. So, but yeah, so to continue, I suggested or asked, you know, if you feel like this, go outside and just listen. Do you hear terror? Do you hear horrible things happen? No, probably not, you know. Yeah, and close your eyes and so, do you smell smoke? Do you smell burning well, hopefully nobody knows what that smells like. Or you know, what do you smell? You know, you probably just smell fresh air, right? You know, and I was saying, like, hey, just and it's the other senses. It's the other senses that you have to get some activation energy into, because all you're doing is reading this crazy stuff and hearing this, you know, there's more to life than that. So
yeah,
I just
24/7. Leave the TV on all day and listen to the major news networks, and you will become more depressed. You'll have more fear. It's all relevant information. It's preparing us and teaching us, or the things that we need to be cognizant about to be safe, right? But also, but if you're hearing it all the time,
oh gosh,
basically adjust your mindset. So turn off the TV, you know, turn something else on, you know, do
something. Yeah, break away from that. Yeah.
Break away. So share with me, you printed out a few things. So I'd like for you to talk about the things that people can do. It doesn't take this today, next week, a month from now, a year, and apply this to your life, because it's going to be beneficial. Because when we're healthy and our mindset's healthy, it's a domino effect. It affects everything around us, our relationships, our family, our community, you know, how we are in the neighborhood. And when you're feeling in a good space, then you become who you are. You don't have this, negativity weighing you down. So
Yeah.
coming out of that and letting your best light shine. So we
Absolutely.
do that every day by consciously adjusting our mindset and where we're going to put our focus. So for myself, I would, turn the TV off, sing some karaoke, and put a candle on. It's amazing just what a candle does to make you feel just calm. Meditation.
Mm-hmm.
Doing a Zoom call or a call with friends and family, calling up somebody, hey, do you need help? Do you need something? Can I help you out? So it's offering services to people that aren't there. And this is after COVID. During, after, what are we going to learn from this major historical event? And how is that going to adjust how we communicate and how grateful we are for what we had?
Absolutely. There's been a lot of good. There's been a lot of good from this too, right?
Yeah.
A lot of resetting, recentering, you're grounding yourself, what's important, right? Stuff like that. So there's good and bad that comes with everything, but what do you want? What do you want out of it, right? And it comes down to you. Mm-hmm.
So that's it. We see our faults as humanity, where we can do better, right? And where we've really messed up the planet and we've been distorted. And I talk about that, the grand illusion, in my book, The Pinata Theory, which I'll share a little bit about. But Jaime, give us some of your expertise, because you deal with people every day and you've been through it. And I'd like to share that.
Okay, so yeah, so the expertise. I mean, I did, after I got all the programs, I did go to college and get my mental health counseling and certifications and degree and everything. But so my expertise is, I guess, well, no, I don't guess, it's on me. Okay, I'm an expert in myself because I faced it. I looked in the mirror and I asked for help, and I was as vulnerable as you can get, and it was a very public, it was a very public fall from grace that I had, but it was also very public, sort of get myself out of it as well. So I learned a technique while I was going through that, and this is one of the best things I could have ever learned, and I share it, and it's not new. It is not exclusively to me or anything. It's called a three column. There's 3, 5, 7, 12 column thought process records, right? So just to kind of get clarity of your thought. So once again, I go back to that article. The world's ending. Everybody is stressed out. Everybody is having mental health problems. It's like, okay, time out. Don't worry about everybody. Check in with you. Do some mental coaching. Check in with you. What's going on? So I use that person as the example, right? Well, depression. Everybody's gonna get sick. Everybody. Okay, so let's. You can take a piece of paper and draw 3 little columns, just like this.
Okay.
Okay, and then you can say, hey, okay, what's the distressing thought? Well, everyone, right? So what's the thought that's making you feel this? Okay, everyone is everyone's depressed, right? And then you want to look at the distortion would be block 2. So the thought everyone's depressed, and that naturally is going to depress you, right? So then the second column would be the distortion, like what's the evidence, or why are you thinking that? Everyone. Well, you don't. Okay, number one, you don't know what everyone's feeling. So that right there is right. You're not a mind reader. You're not a fortune teller, right? And you're being you're catastrophizing, right? So everyone is falling apart. Everyone's depressed. Everyone, and why are you thinking that to begin with? What are you feeling? Let's get everyone. I know we have all the answers to everybody. Believe me, I have all the answers for everybody, but not myself, right? So take that time out, check in. Okay, I'm flipping out because everyone is depressed and mental health, and well, okay. So write that down. Write it down. Look at it, see it, write it down, so you get all your sense going on, right? So distortion, like I said, column 2 would be the mind reading. You're not a mind reader, not a fortune teller, and you're catastrophizing. It's an all or nothing kind of thinking. And then you want to go to block 3, and that's the rational. That's the rational side of you with that, right? So number 1, you're not a mind reader, so you don't know what everyone's feeling. Okay. Number 2, not everything you're hearing on the news may not be exactly what's going on, right? So take that time out. Like I said, turn it off. Like you said, turn it off. Turn it off. The greatest thing about these are tools for us. We're not its tool, right? So you can turn off notifications. You can turn it off. Believe it or not, these things actually do go off. You know, like my phone, I have no notifications. If I get a text, call, whatever, I don't know about it. And I get chewed out all the time because you haven't responded to me, you know, like, well, I'll get to it, probably because I was busy, right? So I have every notification you could possibly think of turned off on my phone. And I do that for my own mental health, right? Because it drives me nuts hearing the ding, ding, ding. That kind of, so, but yeah, so those three columns, right? What is the trigger? What is the distressing thought? And why? What's the evidence to back that up? Or why are you thinking that, right? And the rational thought. You don't know what everybody's feeling. You do know what you're feeling. You know, there's no evidence to back that up. It's only what you're hearing. Like I said, go outside, close your eyes, listen. I don't hear hell on earth happening. You know, it's not happening. You know, believe in yourself, believe what you see, believe what you hear, you know, and believe what you're feeling. Don't be so persuaded by the news selling ads, right? Because it's a big sales thing too. I mean, yes, there is a disease, yes, there's a virus, of course there is. Yes, it's at hand, but it's also it's an opportunity for people to push things through too, right? So just be aware of all that, you know. So those three columns, that thought process thing, it does wonders. I mean, I to this day I use it. Like, what was I telling you earlier? I got on that speaking circuit thing, right? And I dragged my feet. I was procrastinating. Like, I was avoiding it because I started thinking, oh my God, I'm not good enough for this. Like, I'm on the same page as Magic Johnson and Bob Costas. Like, who am I? You know, so I started immediately doubting myself. And I had a certain amount of a window of time to get that done, for example, right? And I blew it off. I completely blew it. Oh, I'm too busy doing this. Like I started creating more problems for me to solve to avoid that, right? That was this week. This week I did that. And I didn't feel like I was good enough. I didn't feel like I was able, what's my story, right? Like I'm no Hall of Fame person or anything like that. And it's that self-talk. Instead of coaching myself, self-talk and a positive, here I am teaching, I teach it, I do it all day long, you know, and I try and live the best of my ability to have a more, so that everything I do matters, right? To have a meaningful life. And here I'm doubting myself, hiding. I was hiding like all last week, like literally, oh God, you know, what am I doing? I'm not good enough, not good enough. And why was I thinking that? Why was it? Where's the evidence that says I'm not good enough, that I can't do that? Well, I've already been doing it. You know?
A lot of us do that. We say, I'm not.
Yeah.
Everyone has a story, and share that story with the world, because through that we help other people and we grow, learn, you know, and support. It's very important, and you are.
So like I said, I was down on myself, you know, and why was I doing that? Because I was afraid, you know, because I was out of my comfort zone, you know, and like, I do a lot of public things, I do a lot of public speaking, but this is a whole nother level, right? So I'm out of my comfort zone, I'm afraid, right? And then the rational side would be, well, they accepted me for a reason, you know. Some pretty big people vouch for me, you know, for a reason. There's a reason why I'm here right now. There's a reason for this, right? And the reason is probably because I deserve to be here, you know, and that's okay. It's not being arrogant or braggadocious, but you know, I worked to get here, you know, I worked pretty hard, so I should be proud of that, you know, not afraid of it, you know. And like I said, just as soon as a couple days ago, I was ripping my hair out over it. So like I said, even today, I'm still doing those 3 column, you know, this is my thought, my feeling, it's just made me sick, you know. Now, okay, time out. Where's my evidence to back that up? You're afraid because you're out of your comfort zone, you know.
Yeah.
And there's so many people that have put their time and efforts into you to be here. So very fortunate and grateful, you know. That's really my answer. So do my best, you know. Yeah. So those are the examples. Does that make sense?
It does, absolutely. And I like that you touched on, you know, so this incredible journey that you went through and all the work that you had to do, because it's very difficult with mental health addictions to recover. It takes a lot of work, but it needs a lot of support. It needs programs, people that are, you know, your peer supports, you know, whether it's a program, you know, the proper diagnosis is very important. This is all very important, but the support behind it. And again, you talked about ego earlier, how that blocks us from speaking the truth. And when we hold that inside, we're not doing ourselves any favors, because it just gets to a point where everything crashes and then that's it, right?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, share the types of problematic thinking. I'd like to hear that.
I would love to. I would love to. So let me first start off by saying this is Dr. S. Johnson down in San Diego, California. It's the Therapist's Guide to Clinical Intervention. He's the one who came up with this. This is the most brilliant thing on earth that could have ever been put on paper. So anyone, I'm gonna read all 15. So for those of your attention span social media people, calm down. We'll get through all 15 of them. So okay, number one, and I'll tell you right now, today I've done all of these. Okay, so number one is filtering. You take the negative details and magnify them while filtering out all the positive aspects of the situation. Can anyone think at a time when you took all the negative details and magnified them out to be the ultimate and left out all the positive, right? Filtering. That's number one. Number two, polarized thinking. Okay, things are black and white, good and bad, right? Like all or nothing, that white knuckle, all or nothing thinking. You have to be perfect or else you're a complete failure, right? And there's no middle ground. It's all or nothing. That makes no sense. It's never all, it's never all or nothing. But we do that, right? And then we get stressed out and put consequences on ourselves because we failed. Who put that standard on you to begin with? What did you fail? You know, you tried. I mean, in trying, you do. I mean, you either win or you learn, right? There's no fail, right? Okay, so exactly. Okay, now number three, my favorite one. One of them, overgeneralization, right? Coming to a general conclusion based on a single incident or piece of evidence. If something bad happened once, it's going to happen again. It's always going to happen, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I did that probably 50 times today. And then number four, we have mind reading. Okay, so without them saying so, without you saying so right now, I know exactly what you're feeling. I know exactly what you're thinking. Right? You're thinking that Jamie sucks at this interview. I should have never called him. I should have went with the other person. And I know you're feeling that. I know you're thinking thinking that. Right? In particular, you're able to tell how people are feeling toward you. So I know you're feeling that towards me right now. Why? Because I'm a mind reader. Duh.
Yeah.
Right? So
All in our mind. Nobody else.
How many times a day do people do that, right?
Yeah.
This one is probably my all-time favorite, catastrophizing, right? You expect disaster. Now, yep, today's gonna be a bad day just like yesterday, just like every day, right? You notice or hear about a problem and start the what ifs. Oh God, what if I get COVID? Oh God, what if everybody dies? Oh my God, everybody's depressed. Oh my God, everybody, right? That's the catastrophizing, right? It's the end of the world. Tragedy is gonna strike. What if it happens to me? Oh my God, you know, so it's like we put ourselves through all this stuff.
Yeah, don't mind. I'm sharing on some more Facebook.
Okay.
So people.
You're ignoring me. Yep, because I'm not doing good. Yep. Just kidding. All right, so, right, catastrophizing. So personalization, thinking that everything people do or say is some kind of reaction or some type of a reaction to you. You also compare yourself to others, trying to determine who's smarter, better looking, who's cooler, who's, you know, who gets the most likes, who has more comments, right?
Or Jamie, you're cooler. You're cooler.
Not even close. Okay, so number 7, control fallacies, right? If you feel externally controlled, you see yourself as helpless, a victim of fate. You're a victim. You're not good enough. Here we go again, right? The fallacy of internal control has you responsible for the pain and happiness of everyone else around you. So once again, you're going to be mind reading, catastrophizing, filtering. Like it all connects to each other, right? It's great. This is the greatest thing ever. All right. Number 8, fallacy of fairness. You feel resentful because you think you know what's fair, but other people won't agree with you, right? I mean, we're all gods. We all know what we're doing, right? Like we know the best thing to do, but we won't do it ourselves. But we know exactly what everybody else needs to do. Exactly.
Talk about that, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Number 9, another classic one, blaming. You hold others responsible for your pain. That makes sense, right? Everybody's responsible for everything bad that happens to me. Or you take the other track and blame yourself for every problem, or a reversal of that without regard to any external causes, right? It's all my fault. I'm stupid. I'm dumb. Yeah, there's no such thing as that. Nobody is. Number 10, shoulds. You have a list of ironclad rules, bam, right? And about how you and other people should act. I know exactly how the world should go according to me, right? People who break your rules anger you, and you feel guilty if you violate the rules yourself. And then when you feel guilty about a rule that was never put on you to begin with, you give yourself consequences, right? So then you start talking bad to yourself. You start feeling bad. I'm going to come back to that. I have a story about that, by the way. Okay, so emotional reasoning is the next one, number 11. You believe that you feel must be true automatically. If you feel stupid and boring, well, obviously you're stupid and boring. You know, you don't have friends. You don't have, it's like, this is just, if we wouldn't hang out with the person in our mind, like say we took our mind and set it next to us, we wouldn't want to be next to that fool because all they do is talk crap. Like you wouldn't want a friend like that, right?
Yeah.
No, yeah, it's okay. So number 12, fallacy of change, right? You expect that other people will change to suit you if you just pressure or cajole them enough. You need to change people because your hopes for happiness seem to depend entirely on everyone else. Nuts, right? So 13, global thinking. You overgeneralize or two qualities into a negative global judgment. So overgeneralizing, right? Number 14, which is me all day long, be right. You are continually on trial to prove that your opinions and actions are correct. Being wrong is absolutely unthinkable. And you will go to any length to demonstrate your rightness. And what are you doing? You're arguing. You're arguing. You're putting the blind. Yeah, take that mask and put it over that because you're not seeing the world around you, right? Grows right. And number 15, last but not least, heaven's reward fallacy. You expect all your sacrifice and self-denial to pay off, obviously, as if there were someone keeping a score. Again, a standard no one ever put on you. You feel bitter when the reward doesn't come to fruition, right? So those are the 15 types of problematic thinking. Of course, I come out, probably took it a little long, acted it out. Here, it's backwards, never mind, I'll post it later. But yeah, everybody, I have this on my refrigerator, literally. And I walk in at night, yep, I'm gonna do that one, just because I'm honest with myself.
Yeah.
Savagely honest with myself. But hey, so catastrophizing, number 5. I probably did that, I don't know, maybe 17 times today versus 400 times last month. But guess what? Little less every day. And that's all you can do. Is try and just be a better person. Just try and be a better person. That's all, and there's tools out there like this, right? There's tools out there like our little 3 column that we did to take your crazy ass thoughts, take your crazy thoughts, and then what backs it up, and then what's the rational one, right? Like, all of us are a mess. We're all a mess. We're all nuts. We're all a mess. Everyone's family's crazy. All of us. But that's okay because it just is. That's just the way it is. The way it's always been. You're not as messed up or special as me or you or anybody else. You know what I mean? Sorry, just the way it is. But yeah.
I just did a share to my personal Facebook page. So if anyone would like to send any questions in, I'm going to try to keep, answer and I'm going to share links and just people that are just coming in on the call. I have Jaime Medina here, and he is the founder of Fix Inc. It's a veteran service organization in California. And his experience is a combat peer support and substance abuse counselor. He served in the US Air Force, and he's a speaker. You can find Jaime on eSpeakers now. Suicide interventionist, veteran transition specialist, co-host of the Veterans Take Charge radio show. So Jaime was sharing his life experience in his career and in his life and how he overcame many obstacles, and a very powerful story, and how it's very important to be consciously aware every single day. And I like how you're saying that, because we're all have flaws, right?
Oh yeah. We're all insufficient. We all suffer. Life's unfair.
It's about the mindset, and where we let the thoughts go, that in our energy, that's where it'll bring us. So in my book, The Pinata Theory, what's in your stuffing? So Jaime, your stuffing, your life experiences are different than mine, correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And everybody watching the call, we all have different life experiences. So I talk about, where you grew up, your family, religion, what was happening in that generation and time, everything that affected your life. There could have been trauma, there could have been racism, addictions within the family. All these things affect who we are, and that's what I call our stuffing. So what's in your stuffing? So we all have behaviors or thoughts or beliefs. You say, well, you know, the one point you made about, you know, my way is the only way, because you think, we all think we're right based on our stuffing. But we have to understand that every single pinata, all of us have a different life story with different beliefs. So it means understanding that we're all stuffed differently. We all have different life experiences, and to be compassionate towards each other and be open to other beliefs and ways and everything, and not to judge or say, I'm right, you're wrong, because that's all about ego.
Yeah, of course, yeah. And it's a problem thinking.
That's it. And ego is about I'm better, I'm right, I'm this, I'm that. So it's about being the best person you can be. And we all have faults and we all have gifts. We all have strengths within us that we can share, and really focus on the things that you love to do that really bring you joy. So I'd like to share just a little bit from the book.
Okay, please.
Yeah, and I just lost my, oh, I got the wrong one here, that's why. Okay, so this book is available on my website. It's called The Pinata Theory, What's in Your Stuffing? Unleash the power of your subconscious mind, smash adversity, and rock your pinata. So inside I give life tips all about, you know, how we're all different, and about compassion, love, and truth, and how important truth is in recognizing ourselves and the things that we need to improve. So there's a chapter, I've done a lot of work in the area of mental health and addictions. And so this is a chapter about Alex. And Alex had many problems in his relationships because of his substance abuse issues, his addictions. So he went through several relationships because, you know, the women he was with, they didn't, you know, want to be in an unhealthy relationship. So Alex, you know, through time, he got mentors, he joined AA groups, and he started looking at his own stuffing and understanding where his behaviors and triggers came from, and really to get to the root of his pain. So at the root of every addiction is the underlying cause. So the addiction is the outcome to the pain. So it's about recognizing and going, understanding where that is, and then healing. That could be through forgiveness, through programs, through CBT, DBT, different programs that help people with the specific things that we need to improve on, or we have difficulties. So I always say, when you get into a program, it's an investment. It's an investment in your, it's an investment. And people look at it like it's a negative thing, and there's so much stigma around mental illness and addictions, and there shouldn't be, because we are flawed. We are flawed, right, Jamie?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
We know. So he did a lot of work, Alex, and he turned his life around. He's been in recovery for several years. So changing old ways takes work and self-awareness. It takes time to examine our past stuffing, which is your life experiences, and the influence that it has on our current life. However, do not accept past experiences as a life sentence of pain. Work at recovery, healing, understanding, and building a new solid foundation. The most valuable suggestion I can give when overcoming behaviors that hurt you, or you can encourage others that are hurting, is to remember these words: one day at a time. Take baby pinata steps. Lasting change takes time. If you fall on your colorful tail, get up, brush your pinata up, and lift up your beautiful chin. After all, you are a child of the grand pinata, God. And no disrespect to God. This is all about, in light, about pinatas. Walk in your inherent greatness through spirit and truth and love. And if we stick to those two words in life, truth and love, everything, it'll go smooth when we're truthful and loving in every situation. So here's an example of from automatic subconscious behavior to conscious choice. Okay, so months go by and Alex gets dumped again because he's been dumped several times by his latest girlfriend for the same reason. He was drinking. So Alex now has a conscious decision to make. His feelings well up, fueled by his subconscious stuffing. And instead of becoming angry or hurt, Alex says to himself, I won't do what I did in the past because that caused pain for myself and others. I will call my good friend John and meet him for coffee instead of drinking. And I will attend an AA meeting to continue to stay sober. Boom. This is where the magic begins. Because instead of you recognize that you're going to be going into a negative pattern and you recognize that and you say, stop. Now I have a choice. I'm going to pick up the phone and call my sponsor. I'm going to pick up the phone and talk to somebody instead of going into that deep, dark place. So Alex is consciously aware of the truth, manages drinking and behavior, and chooses to apply new coping mechanisms. Alex no longer lashes out or blames others. He looks at himself, focuses on how he can be a better person, not for others, but for himself. So this covers many things that we struggle with. And you can get that on my website, charlenerenaud.com, and I'll send you an autographed copy as well. But so many of the things that you touched on, Jamie, and there are things that we all experience as far as those self-doubts and everything, and that comes from somewhere deep inside of us where somewhere along the way someone said you're not good enough, you're not this, you're not that.
Just gonna say that, exactly. And how many other people can relate to that? Everyone. In one way, shape, or form.
So we have to understand that that's just a very false social paradigm. And every person that we meet, especially when this is done and we can get back to our new normal, is when's the last time you talked to someone at the supermarket or somebody walking past you in the parking lot? Hi, how are you? I've done that many times, and I get into a discussion with a complete stranger about. It's amazing because we've been walking. Oh yeah. Somehow we get caught up in our space, and then we forget the life around us, and that includes the nature around us. And getting outside into nature.
Yeah.
Huge, huge, huge. And this is a time to invest in kids. I have Precious Pinata, my teaching character that comes with the book. So this teaches kids all about life. This is the manual for life. So being in policing for 25 years and writing the book about life experiences, there's a link between early childhood, adverse childhood experiences, and future disease. So it's very important to invest in our children, especially at this time at home. Inside of Precious, there's 7 different colored balls, and each ball is a different. So an adult presents the book to the child, 1 chapter at a time. It only takes 15 minutes. And there's a lot of interaction to make sure kids really know about life. When do we sit down and talk to our kids about mental health? When do we talk to our kids about healthy and unhealthy relationships? Turn all the devices off. I like what you do, Jamie. No notifications. Turn it off. Get off of all these devices. I know we're using the device tonight, but this is for a teaching purpose. And use this. What I'm saying is that people are just so in their face,
sick.
And this is what this is all about. And this is one of the most important balls inside of Precious Pinata. You know what this is, Jamie? Pinata poop stuffing. So it's anything inside of you, anything that makes you feel sad. So Precious is talking to the one. So if there's anything inside of you that makes you feel sad or you're afraid or you're anxious, you need to talk to someone. You need to share this with an adult. Because if this stays inside of you, it causes pain. So when we look at the bigger picture for adults, when we hold on to this causes pain. So our ego gets in the way of sharing, but we know there's something deep inside that we need to share. So I say people that have addictions, or they're struggling, or they're depression, there's something they haven't, they have this inside. So share your stuff, and just this character is helping kids open up about life. So it's about racism, culture, healthy relationships, gratitude, leadership. Each ball is a different topic, and it teaches kids about emotions, emotion shifting, which you talked about. So you can shift from a space of negativity to shifting through thinking about different things. Put on a really good song. I like to share this. I played it for Jamie earlier, so I'd just like to share it really quick. This is a new Precious Pinata song, and I'll just play a little bit of it for you, and I'm sure this will get everyone fired up. And eventually this is going to be a street dance, and we're going to have a global challenge to dance with Precious Pinata, 100 people on the street, and we're just going to rock it because we're going to be so happy to be able to get out there. And it's all about love. All about love.
Only if I get to wear that.
What's that?
Only if I get to wear that.
Okay, you're hired. So I'll have to get to California. So here we go. And it's not working. Oh. Don't know why it's not. I keep doing that, Jamie. Here, let me get this set up. Tomorrow I'll get this song going here. Anything else you'd like to reflect on while I'm trying to get the song working here?
Well, something came to me when you were talking about, you know, the stuff inside of the pinata and how to use that to talk to kids. Now, what you're talking about, what you're doing right now is you're being, I know this is like foreign to everybody, you're being proactive, right? So you're instead of reactive, because usually when we talk to kids, like I know I was a pretty, I'm not gonna say, difficult child. You know, I was always in kind of some kind of rambunctious, I like to say. You know, I was a little shit. So, so yeah, you know, and I was always I'd get in trouble with this, that, and then I always get talking to after the fact, right? Versus like, hey, check it out. Don't go blow up your neighbor's mailbox. Not that I ever did that, but don't, you know, don't go do that because that's wrong. You know, instead of you blew your neighbor's mailbox up, he saw you. Now I gotta beat you. You know, at least you're grounded forever. No Nintendo. So, you know, what you're doing is you're being proactive, right? And that's all about communication. It's all about talking to your kids, and you're also you're pre-gaming them, right? So it's like, okay, you can take each one of these balls out of the pinata, and you know each one stands for something, right? So you're guarding, you're putting in their head like, this is life, this is out there, this is out in the world. Okay, you're gonna face this, you're gonna see this, and you've got them thinking in a whole different plane. You're actually training them to be proactive, right? Does that make sense?
Yes, and your camera just went off for some. Oh, there you are. There you are.
So that's what I got from that, you know.
Excellent. And because I've got this device, I've got this going over here, sharing a watch party, I can't play the song, but I will share it after. And it's
Awesome.
a really
Awesome.
I appreciate that, Jamie, because this is why Precious was born. So it's teaching the new generation about life and how we respect self and others and healthy relationships, what that looks like. So it's arming them with that knowledge. And there's also a chapter about abuse. So that's very important because it's something we need to talk to our kids about, and it happens. It's very prevalent.
You're arming them up for what's outside the door, you know.
And then here's a stat, Canadian stat, I'm sure it's not too far off for the US, is 1 in 3 girls and 1 in 6 boys are sexually abused.
Yes.
So it's very important, and 95% of the time by someone they know. So this is why there's a chapter about abuse. So it's about familiar people acting strange. Who are familiar people? And I give examples of that. Who are familiar people? Neighbor, family, step family, could be a babysitter, you know, on and on.
Who does. Yeah.
Yeah, so somebody familiar to be. So there's a normal day, and then what is something very different, and what makes you feel very uncomfortable, or something really off, or something unusual. And Dr. Rafiq, a psychiatrist here at Chatham Health Alliance, I asked him, you know, to help me with that chapter. And he says, you have to liken it and give them an example. So when the child is thinking about their normal day, but when something's very different, how do you explain that to a child? It's like biting into a lemon. So it's like, that's bitter, very different, very different. So it's the same thing. You feel very uncomfortable. And I give examples of things that people might want them to do, and stop, leave. It's wrong. And I used to sit in trials with children that were abused, you know, through sexual assault trials. And
I've done that.
yeah, the predators make, they play mind games. They don't want to get caught, obviously, because they're doing something wrong. So they'll tell the child, don't tell anybody, don't tell anybody. So that's in the book too. They say, don't tell, don't tell, don't tell. And the big punchline, it's time to tell everyone. So it's time to tell everyone, time to tell everyone. So if it ever happens that they're going about their life and then something happens and there's going to be one victim because we arm them with knowledge.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah, it's real. It's real life. You know, it reminded me of something. Right? Oh, good.
Go ahead.
Oh no, it just reminded me. You know, in real life, right? Real life. What I did today. You know, what I did an hour ago, and what you did yesterday. Right? These are real life experiences, but it's also training. Okay, it reminds me, like, I was in this humongous firefight one time for like 6 hours. You know, we're pinned down, and I had a new guy with me. He's, you know, shook up. You know, I'm sitting there, you know, trying to find out where we're shooting at. Dude, I'm so, you know, desensitized by then. And he's kind of freaking out. I was like, hey, I go, hey, let me borrow your, you have the season 4 of Scrubs, right? You know, he's like, huh? You know, like, we're getting shot at. I'm like, yeah, you have season 4 of Scrubs, that doctor show? Yeah. Okay, because I'm about to finish season 3, so let me borrow season 4. He goes, yeah, I have all of them, you know. And I'm all, okay, so but I took his mind out of there for a second, you know. That's the thing too, is break up whatever you're doing. And then I said, hey man, you know, listen, I go, I know this is, we're gonna get out of this. Don't worry, we're gonna get out of this. And all this really was, yeah, it's traumatic, of course, right? I'm not minimizing, but it was training. Real life is training for tomorrow, the next day, right? Whatever event that you've happened, whatever, even if traumatic, right? Sexual abuse, whatever. I mean, you can look at it in a bunch of different ways. There were, you know, all my events, everything that's happened to me has armed me, right, wrong, and different, good, bad, and ugly, has armed me for tomorrow, right? For what's going to come tomorrow. So real life is really training for tomorrow. And that's the way I look at it. You know, that's the way I sort of form that. And I help people also, you know, who are stuck on that one event, you know, like I've seen a Humvee blow up in front of me and I slept like a baby. Some people can see that and they're wrecked forever. You know, it just depends. But it's how you process that, you know, and how you deal with that and manage it. You know, anything's manageable. Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. So, you know, when we fall down, you know, we think, you know, we all make mistakes, but you and I have been through very traumatic things in our life. And I look where we are today from where we were. And, you know, through the grace of God, through, you know, help and our own conviction and our strength to keep pushing through, keep pushing through. You're 5 seconds away from the miracle. So don't give up. It's important to just keep moving one time forward, and you'll still get setbacks. That's going to happen, but don't let those setbacks derail you. If you're a step ahead of where you were tomorrow or yesterday, then just keep going in that direction. And life happens, shit happens. So just forward and do your very best. And then I say that these experiences are a launch pad to success. So those are teaching us about life. Life is life. Right? It's just so I'm going to see if I can quickly pull up the song here on my computer. It's hard to run 3 platforms all at once, but I'm just going to play a little bit to see if you let me know if you can hear
That's
it.
my thing. Well,
if you everybody can hear it.
Yeah, you know, I had a crusty old sergeant. What's that? I was going to tell you, I had this crusty old sergeant that I used to work with, you know, and he'd say, even if you fall on your face, you know, you're moving forward, you know. Yeah, no, I don't hear it.
Did you hear it?
Do you hear it?
Here, I'll play and you let me know if you can hear it. Just do you hear it? No?
Oh, no, yeah.
Yeah, it's tough to run all these platforms. I am no pro, but I am learning. Jamie's pretending it's playing and he's dancing for us. So let me see if I can open this up.
I heard it.
You can hear it? Oh, good.
I did, yeah.
So
like a couple
when
seconds.
So when we can all get back out, and this is going to be the coming out party. We're all going to get out in the street and we're going to love one another. We're going to love ourselves. We're going to talk about unity, not separation, and about one world, one race. We are one. And if we can love each other and love ourselves, we're well ahead of the game. So I just, is there any final things you'd like to share with us? Anything you'd like to share with us? I just want to say thank you.
Yeah, for sure. I just want to say thank you for having me today. The invite, it was awesome. I love talking to you. It's just, I feel like I always learn, more something about talking to you. I just want to say to anybody out there, just take a time out. If I can take a time out in a firefight, you can take a time out in whatever the hell you're doing. Take a time out and remove yourself, from that situation. Walk outside, get a breath of fresh air, feel the grass, feel something, like use your other senses other than what you see and what you hear. You got so many, that's 5 senses, like so many more that you're not using, right? And that's gonna heal you. That will heal you. And try not to, let those problematic thinking things happen. But if they do, guess what? That's okay. Like I said, I probably did this 400 times today anyway, but being aware of it, you're going to minimize it and you're not going to do it as much, and that's what's going to lead to you not being so jaded and bitter and, feel like everything's wrong, and be a better person. It's all about trying to be a better person. And I believe being a better person is in service to others. I think you're going to find it in service to others. That's how you're going to find it, and that's, as far as I can see it, that's, the definition of a meaningful life. Everything you do matters and everything you don't do matters. So it's up to you.
Yeah, that's beautiful, Jamie. And I agree 100%. Is the service that you give to others is my reason for being is God, because I am helping people and sharing, and you're passionate. I'm passionate about what we do because we're making a difference. We're making a difference in people's lives, and we don't do it for our own ego, because we've been there and we know and we share, and that again is a domino effect for every person's life that has been changed. So, just never give up hope, and reach out. And Jamie, where's the best place that people can get a hold of you to contact you?
Yeah, so you can call our office at 209-207-9284. That's the fixed line, and actually that's sort of a underground crisis line too. So each one of the people that work with fixed, we'll take on for a couple days. So like if somebody calls, like you don't feel comfortable calling the 1-800 suicide number, you talk to one of us, because the majority of us have been through something, right? All the peer support people that we have. Also our website, which is www.fixedinc.org, but there's no E, so it's FIXDINC.org.
Yeah, so FIXDINC.org?
Yep. Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then, a little bit more about your team. Tell me, like, more of the services for the veterans. And so
yeah, and not just veterans, though. I mean, anybody that comes to us, we will find you the answer, and we do not stop until we do. Okay, so everything's sort of been molded on, like, my crazy, in my experiences, right? So we just attack. Yeah, so the majority of my team are clients. I'd say about 80% of those who are working with Fixed were once a client of Fixed. So we turn clients into counselors. We turn clients into peer support counselors, pay for the education, the training, whatnot as well. Yeah, when like I said, when I got myself fixed, for lack of a better word, all I wanted to do was everything I learned and everything I did to get myself to being better was share it, right? Share it out there, and give that information and knowledge to somebody else who may be in similar situation or shoes. And turns out there was a lot, and there is. But we're working on it.
Excellent. That's super, super, super. So again, the number is 209-207-9284. And how big is your team? How many people do you have at Fixed?
In California? Because we're working in different states now too, which is awesome. We just had our 4th birthday. Fixed has been around for 4 years. Yeah, we have, the leadership team, the board, I think there's 9, right? And then 50, 60 or so just out there, and everybody works for free. We all work for free, nobody's paid. We do this because, you feel like you have a duty and obligation to, after you get yourself, fixed, you know. So, oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, that's super. That's super, Jamie. And I'm very, very thankful and grateful to have you. And some of the things you shared, I've learned as well. And everybody, you know, apply everything, and life is great. And if we look at things that we're blessed with and really just take a moment to thank you just for the air, the sky, our freedom.